Hello again, race fans. Brad Luce again, this time standing in the Stan Sayers Memorial Pit area on the shores of Lake Washington as we get ready for the 2023 HomeStreet Bank Cup, APBA Gold Cup races and Boeing Air Show on Lake Washington at Seafair. Standing in front of the U-37, the Slow Motion 5 unlimited hydroplane, and it is this boat on some level that kind of started it all in Seattle. Yes, it was the Slow Mo 4 that went back to Detroit and won the Gold Cup in 1950 and brought the first Gold Cup race to Seattle in 1951. But this is the boat that was built in secrecy, that was brought out in 1951 and was the victor on that first race on these crystal clear waters. We're going to do it again for the first time in 38 years. We're going to have a Gold Cup on Lake Washington. It's going to be good. It is the 113th running of the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world, and I can never go the whole weekend without saying that one line. It'll come out on a number of occasions. But what a way to start with the Slow Motion 5 on display. We're going to take a quick walk through the pit area. We're going to see if we can find some drivers. We've got a number of boats here that are ready to go. It should be a very competitive weekend of racing here. 9 boats are in the pit area, hoping to qualify and walk away with that most prestigious trophy in motorsports. And we start with the U-12, the Graham Trucking. This boat showed up for the first time in 2 seasons, showed up last week in the Tri-Cities and had an extremely successful weekend. They brought rookie driver Bobby King in to become the driver of the boat. He did. He got qualified. He started all of his preliminary heats. He finished all of his preliminary heats and came within just a few points of making the front row in the final. But this weekend, Bobby King is ready to go. No restrictions. He'll be driving the U-12, the Graham Trucking. Take a walk over this way. Walk around the boat. We'll find the U-11, the Legend Yacht Transport, presented by the Old Cannery Furniture Warehouse. These guys have had a very good season to date. The boat has run very, very strong. That did not change in the Tri-Cities. An unfortunate did not finish in the final heat. Hurt them in the National High Points race, but the team is absolutely dedicated to continuing that fight and chasing it down. This is the final race of the 2023 season. Jamie Nielsen handles the driving chores, and if nothing else, he's proving that if you can finish your heats and drive legal, you can score a lot of points and be very, very high in the National High Points rankings. It's the U-11 Legend Yacht Transport, presented by the Old Cannery Furniture Warehouse, boat owned by Scott and Shannon Rainey out of Cle Elum, Washington. We'll walk around the Chartreuse and Royal Blue hydroplane. Come over here to the racing stables of Bucket List Racing. The U-40 and the U-440. We start first with the U-440. The boat is driven by Brent Hall. Brent is a rookie. Brent is, as yet, an unqualified driver on the H1 Unlimited circuit. He had hoped to get qualified in Guntersville, Alabama. That did not happen. He had hoped to make sure he got the job done in the Tri-Cities last week. Unfortunately, gearbox problems caused problems for the 440. But Brent, I've talked to him here this afternoon. He is ready to go. I expect tomorrow morning we find that boat hanging over the water at 9 o'clock when the course opens, and they will try and get it out and get Brent qualified. It will be a big story if it happens, because Brent Hall will become the first African-American driver to be qualified in an H1 Unlimited. Moving to the next boat in the Bucket List stables is the U-40, the Flavor Pack, and this is one of the big stories that we've had this year. They have had some tough luck on the race course. They ran over a disabled boat in Guntersville, causing extensive damage. Then the boat blew over in the final heat of the Madison Regatta. But then between the Madison Regatta and the race in Tri-Cities last week, they scored the sponsorship of Flavor Pack. Thus, the Bucket List traditional Tennessee orange is gone from the decks of this one. You see it replaced with the blue and yellow of Flavor Pack. It looks really good on the water. They came through unscathed from the standpoint of damage last week in the Tri-Cities. They finished on the podium. Look for them to run very, very strong at this APBA Gold Cup. They were our top qualifier in Guntersville, Alabama, turning a lap in excess of 171 miles an hour. The boat is a quick one. Watch this. I'm going to jump over here. I think I can grab Dustin Eccles here real quick. Hey there, young man. How are you? Welcome to Seattle.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. It's going to be great.
Always nice to be home.
That's great. Yeah, short commute to get here, and we're all set up, ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So a good race last weekend. You guys finished on the podium. You and I talked about it after the race. You were very pleased with how everything went.
Yeah, overall, we're really excited to end up in a second place. Of course, I would have liked to win it, but over the week here, I had a lot of time to think about stuff, things I want to do differently, a little better. And came together as a team. We have some new goals this weekend, and I'm looking we're feeling pretty good about this one.
You are an unlimited hydroplane driver. What would it mean to win the APBA Gold Cup?
That video that came out this week about you can't put it into words, I think that kind of says it the best. I couldn't even describe how cool it would be to win that, especially with my family here and everything. It would be unreal.
And once they put your name on that trophy, no one can take it off.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle. That's the highlight of everything. So once you've done it, you've absolutely done it. And so all we can do is just keep our head down this week and do our job and hope that it's there in the end.
Well, good luck this weekend. We'll be talking throughout. It's a long weekend, but have some fun, too. Try and enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Dustin Eccles, driver of the U40, the Flavor Pack. Got to be considered one of the favorites here just because the boat has been so darn fast. And let me tell you that Mr. Eccles can handle a race boat. No introduction needed on this particular hydroplane. This is the U1, the Miss HomeStreet. Out of Madison, Indiana. The boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana, and specifically Miss Madison Racing Incorporated. But the big change here for 2023 is defending National High Points champion driver and defending Gold Cup champion Jimmy Shane is no longer the driver. He retired at the end of the season. It is now Dylan Runny, the rookie, who steps up to the unlimited ranks to pilot one of the fastest boats we've ever seen in the history of the sport. He's been doing an amazing job. He's an amazing guy. We all know this boat is fast. It is sponsored by HomeStreet. So is the Gold Cup race here this weekend. They would love nothing better than to claim the big trophy at the end of the day come Sunday afternoon. The U1, the Miss HomeStreet, driven by Dylan Runny. Next up, and also from the stables of Miss Madison Racing, is the U91, the Goodman Real Estate hydroplane. The boat is driven by Andrew Tate. Andrew did not drive in the unlimited ranks last year, but he stepped out of the unlimited retirement, if you will, to get back behind the wheel of this particular hydroplane. They've had an up and down season. The boat looked very, very good in Guntersville. Unfortunately, the boat got upside down during the final heat in Guntersville, Alabama, and there was extensive damage, so much so they had to miss their hometown race on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana, but they were back at it last weekend in the Tri-Cities, and from my particular perspective in the final heat, this boat ran as good as I've seen it run in a long, long time. And Andrew Tate, we know, knows his way around this race course. He knows how to win on Lake Washington. He's done it before. He also has won the Gold Cup before. Andrew Tate, a true competitor. The boats from Madison and Indiana will be tough to beat. Step over here in the corner of the pit area. See who we have over here. We've got the racing stables of Strong Racing. We've got the U8 and the U9. The first up is the U9. That will be the Beacon Plumbing. The boat is driven by Corey Peabody. He, out of Kent, Washington, just local here, would love nothing more than to win on Lake Washington. This boat was destroyed almost completely in Madison, Indiana a year ago, but they brought the boat back to Seattle, spent literally the better part of a year rebuilding this boat. Finally put it on the water at the test session in early June, took it to Guntersville, Alabama, and right out of the box, this boat has been a rocket. With the exception of one particular heat in Madison, Indiana, where the boat spun out down in turn one, this boat has won every heat it has entered this year. This one is really quick. The off-season work has certainly paid off. Darrell Strong's got a fast one here with the U9 Beacon Plumbing, driven by Corey Peabody. Next up is Bright Red, and it's the U8, the Beacon Electric, Bill Cahill stepping up on the Beacon side of the business and sponsoring both of these hydroplanes. This one driven by J. Michael Kelly. J. Michael Kelly knows how to handle a race boat. He also knows how to win on Lake Washington. He has won here 4 times. He's also claimed an APBA Gold Cup. You've got a couple of very, very strong boats here, no pun intended, boats owned by Darrell and Vanessa Strong. But both of these drivers, Corey and Mike, they've won the Gold Cup before. They know how to win. They know what it takes, and they will be very, very tough to beat this weekend. And if this is starting to sound like there is an incredibly competitive field here for the 2023 113th running of the APBA Gold Cup, you're exactly right. We have had terrific deck-to-deck racing all year. I would expect nothing different come this weekend. U8, Beacon Electric. U9, Beacon Plumbing. Oh, and one other note in passing, we've had 3 races this year. These 2 boats have claimed all 3. So we'll step around here. We're not done. I mentioned we've got 9 boats. We'll come around the corner, and this is kind of a fun story. Oh, but watch this. We at least have to drop the mic on him, especially while he's chewing. Chew fast. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You ready to go racing for a Gold Cup on home waters?
I'm ready. You know, we came here this morning and got set up and sitting around looking at the course map and trying to drop some ideas for what we're going to do.
And every time we talk about drivers, there's those who have tasted Gold Cup victory and those that haven't. You have, but that doesn't mean you don't want it anymore.
No, I want it, but I want it here. I've got it. You know, we got it last year. We want to get it here for our sponsor, for ourselves, for our team. But, you know, there's a bunch of other guys here that want it too. So we're going to have to give our best and go out there and show them we are the best. So we're going to give her hell.
I know you are. And go back and have some more of your crackers. I'll catch you with your mouth empty next time.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
Corey Peabody, driver of the U9, the Beacon Plumbing. Let's step around the truck here because I want to get the sun on this one because it's a beauty. It is a beauty. Go Fast, Turn Left Racing returns. They tested the boat in the Tri-Cities a year ago. Boat ran really good with rookie Gunnar O'Farrell behind the wheel. And we were all hoping the boat was going to run last year, but at the end of the day, it did not. They showed up at the test session again this year, and Gunnar got more laps in the boats. He is a qualified driver, but he is dying to get out on the water and get into competition with his mates. He's going to get an opportunity to do that. He is qualified, as I said, and a brand new sponsor on this one. This is really big stuff. It is The Beast Unleashed. Presents the Miss Thriftway. If you haven't seen the Beast Unleashed energy drink in your local grocery store, I have. It's there. You can buy it now. The Beast Unleashed presents the Miss Thriftway. And we're talking about a Gold Cup race. And you start talking about the name Miss Thriftway, and even on this particular body of water, that is a very, very famous name. And that color scheme, for those of you who go back to a certain vintage, should look very, very familiar as well. This is the persimmon and cream of the Miss Thriftway, the 3rd one that was so very, very famous. It returns to Lake Washington for the 2023 APBA Gold Cup, the 113th running. Wouldn't it be something if rookie Gunnar O'Farrell could step up and claim a victory? Those are our 9 boats that are going to run in this year's APBA Gold Cup, but I'm not done. I want to step out here because I talk about drivers and boats and so forth of a certain vintage. We have our vintage H1 Unlimiteds here as well. We've got 4 of them, and if you like noise, you're going to really like this. We have Bill Muncey's 1977 Atlas Van Lines. We have the 1980 Griffin-powered Miss Budweiser. Is there more famous hydroplane than the 73 Pan Pac that Mickey Reeman and George Henley drove so very, very well? And then lastly, we have the 1979 Squire Shop. So Atlas, Bud, Pac, and the Squire, they will be running throughout the weekend. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. Oh, and one more thing. The weather is going to be spectacular. We're standing here now in about 82 or 83 degrees. It's going to be like that all weekend long. The winds will be down. The water conditions will be terrific. This is the 113th running of the APBA Gold Cup. It's going to take place on the historic Ted Jones Racecourse on Lake Washington. It doesn't get any better than that. Anytime any of these boats are on the water this weekend, the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel is where you want to be, and we're going to get started tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Until then, this is Brad Luce from Stan Sayers Memorial Pit Area saying so long. I'll see you all tomorrow.